Hello everyone. So, as you already know, ECD centers and ECD practitioners play a very, very big role in the development of children. So, another element that we need to focus on is the parents and the caregivers' role. They are actually the children's main role models, and what they know of the world and learn of the world and about people is often influenced or mostly influenced by their parents and the circumstances that they grow up and what their parents are teaching them. So, in with relation to this, we as ECD practitioners in our ECD centers need to create an environment that is accepting of all people. So, accepting of different races, accepting of different genders, cultures, language, everything. So when we get to later in the modules, you will learn more about inclusive education. So we need to make our classrooms more accepting of different people and different racial groups and elements like that. So that is what we call an anti-bias classroom or anti-bias resources. So when we say that a person is biased, it means that you are judging a person based on something specific. So based on experiences, or so basically you judge people based on race or class or gender, things like that. But if we say we are anti-bias, it means we are against bias. So we are saying that we are accepting of all people, and that's the environment that we as ECD practitioners need to create within our ECD center. So there is three elements that we will focus on in the process of creating this accepting environment. Is first of all, we need to make sure that our classrooms and our resources are culture fair. In other words, that we include different cultures, different backgrounds, different circumstances, different language, different rules and customs. So we need to be able to make sure that we communicate this to the children, that we teach them about these things. So in your center, you might have different racial groups represented. So we need to create an environment where all of the racial groups are feeling accepted and feeling like they belong. So we also need to teach children about different cultures, because how would I as a person know about different cultures if nobody teaches me? So we want to create an environment where we can expose children to different cultures, where we have our culture days, where we show pictures of different cultures and we talk about the different food. And when we have resources, we include different languages. So maybe isiXhosa, Afrikaans and English on your resources. That shows that you are creating a culturally fair environment in your classroom with your resources. The next one is gender fair. And we are often saying that certain toys or certain things are just suitable for boys and others are more suitable for girls. Instead we need to focus on making sure that we allow boys and girls to play with the same toys, that we teach the boys and the girls that if you want to become a policeman, you can, whether you are a boy or a girl, because there's no longer just men doing certain jobs and women doing certain jobs, but it's everyone can achieve their full potential and achieve whatever they dream of becoming. And we need to create this environment. So we need to allow the boys to play with dolls. We need to allow the girls to play with cars and trucks and building blocks. So to be able to create that environment where children can explore their interests and their different talents. The last one we need to focus on is to create a disability fair environment. In other words, making sure that we can accommodate children with special needs in our classroom, but also teaching children about different special needs. How would the children know about different disabilities if they are not taught this or shown this? And this is something that you can do through pictures, inviting people to come and speak to your center at your centers, having storybooks, having pictures to explain a person in a wheelchair, for example. It's very, very important that we teach children these things. Remember that children need to experience the world. They need to know about what's going on in the world. And you as the ECD practitioners are in the best position to do that. So that's one of the teaching principles that I want you to take note of. And one of them, and we'll get to some of the others in the other modules, but the one that I want you to understand at this moment is working from the known to the unknown, or we sometimes say working from the familiar to the unfamiliar, where we expose children always to things that they know, and then we extend their knowledge to things that they don't know. For example, if we talk about careers, we would say children know about teachers and policemen, and they know about social workers and doctors, but they don't know about a pilot or an engineer, or they don't know about a lawyer. So that's exposing them to things that they do know, and then we move to the things that they don't know. And that's one of the things that, or how teachers are supposed to teach. It's one of your teaching principles, also called the didactic principle, where we always start with the things children know before we move to the things that they don't know. Because if you know something, you are confident in one thing, and then once you are confident, you are ready to learn something new. Okay, so the next thing I want to focus on is children's books. So books is extremely important for children to be exposed to, no matter their age. Yes, babies also need books because they need to see the words, they need to see the pictures, in order for their brain to start understanding letters and sounds and things like that. So obviously age-appropriate books, and we need to make sure that we pay attention to what story is this book telling. Okay, what characters are playing in the story? Is it relevant to my children? Is it appropriate to my children? What is the themes of this storybook? What is the topic of this book? What is it trying to teach the children? Okay, so you need to double check the books before you expose the children to them or before you read the stories. Another thing is the setting. In other words, where is this story happening? So if a story is happening overseas in London, for example, the children might not understand what that is because they've never experienced that. So we need to use stories that children can identify with. And then also illustrations is the pictures. So what is these pictures telling? Is it appropriate? Is it not? So children's books, very important. And then the last thing I want to highlight to you is adapting resources to different needs. First of all, special needs, and I want to show you something. So resources that we often make, but we need to try and make sure that we are able to accommodate children with special needs. So say, for example, you have a child in your classroom that struggles with fine motor skills. In other words, they can't use their hands or their fingers as well yet. So this is a snap game. So it is normal cards. And in order, so a child that struggles will struggle to pick this up because it's really thin. So then we add a peg. Okay, so it makes it easier to hold. Okay, that's one thing. What if a child is struggling with eyesight? Okay, so you'll see those cards that I just had were small. These ones are bigger. It's the same concept. It's also a matching card game, but it's just made bigger. So if you have children that struggles with eyesight, make it bigger. They can use magnifying glasses or sheets that you get. So accommodating special needs. The other one is safety and durability, is making sure that your resources are safe, okay, and that they can last long. So these cards have been made from cardboard. They've been covered with sellotape or laminated to make sure that they last longer. Then bias-free and familiar resources, make sure that we have those resources available. The other thing is adapting to the needs and interests of the children, and that is your themes. Make sure that your themes are interesting and creative and the children will enjoy it. Lastly, before I end off, make sure that you go through your module to look at how to become creative in the classroom with waste products. There's a whole list of things that you can gather, ask parents or community members to gather so that you can use them in your classroom. I hope this was helpful. Please let me know if you need any help.